Do you know how fast the crab would have to run to the knife to deal damage? Crabs have like shell armor.
Do you know how fast crabs are?
I know, but they also have shell armor. That's hard to pierce with the knife. At least with a turtle-sized knife, like a pocket size. Either that or the tool.
Dagger.
Either that or the tools are like,
It's more like a chef's knife.
There's a giant knife on me.
Drawing. My drawing.
It's like, it'd have to be a fairly small knife on the tool. If it's a handheld tool, that'd have to be a fairly small
little
knife.
dagger.
Can we start this, please?
Welcome to this episode where we are talking about how black means death instead of Miss Marvel.
Oh, we're talking about that show?
I literally said that the screenshot is Blackbeard making a comment about it. Oh my god.
Miss Marvel.
Alright, so Miss Marvel, episode 1. What'd you guys think of it?
I like it.
A total of the knife.
I liked it a lot. I thought it may be, with the possible exception of WandaVision, which is sort of on another level because the premise of it starting out is basically just a 50s sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
But that aside, I think it may be the best first episode of any of the Disney Marvel series. I almost said Disney Marvel Plus.
Yeah.
The Marvel Plus Disney series. I feel like Loki and Falcon...
Falcon Winter Soldier.
Falcon. No, I almost said Captain Marvel and Winter Soldier. And then it was Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier. But I thought they got off to a little bit of a slow start. And Hawkeye started a little better, but... Yeah, I think this might have been... And Moon Knight was Moon Knight.
So far, this feels less like a movie, like just based on one episode.
Well, it's one
obviously,
episode, so it's hard to.
But
get
it's like
I don't know.
It didn't feel quite as good as
it felt a lot like it felt a lot like an '80s movie to me.
Felt like the first episode of like a Netflix show to me.
And I mean, it was origin story, which is classic for movies, at least until some of the modern superhero movies. But no, I think they started off strong, and I would even go so far as to expand it to the Star Wars streaming series. Well, I think this might have been the best first episode of any of the Disney ECU streaming series.
Yeah.
Why is it with the possible exception of WandaVision? I feel like that's apples and pomegranates. It's not the same thing.
I really liked it because I was concerned coming into the show based on the bits of the trailers, but watching it, it felt like reading the comic for the first time. Like it captured the story.
And I know obviously this is a long-standing story in the comics, but I've never read any of those comics, so it's nice to see a streaming series that's a new property in this format, in the MCU. Because, I mean, a lot of the ones we've seen before featured stories or characters that we were already used to.
Yeah.
And then those are great, too, don't get me wrong, but it's fun to see something new get started and to come into something fresh.
Definitely.
And I know it ties into the larger MCU, obviously, but you get my drift.
Yeah.
It's also fun to see sort of especially at the start of it, see a look at how ordinary people in the MCU, feel about the Marvel superheroes.
Yeah.
Living in a world, because obviously even in a world full of superheroes and supervillains, most of the people are still going to be ordinary people. And I know we've seen glimpses of that in other Marvel properties as well, but it's fun when we get to see that.
Yes.
Just to see how they sort of feel about living in a world with superheroes.
That was fun. I always like the little regular people bits of the Marvel content.
Minus the regular people bits.
What else would you call it?
People bits?
He said, "Ah, yes."
Ah, yes, regular people bits. My favorite cereal.
I'm concerned.
I like the aesthetic of the show big time.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. It had a nice style. The music was really great too.
Yes.
You
and Gaba and I dancing to the first song probably because of TikTok.
Yeah, one thing I could have done without was the sort of animations in the background.
Oh, that was my favorite part.
Yeah, I found that a little cliche and a little distracting.
Cliche.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not. It's not done to a large degree, but it's not like we haven't seen it before, and it just felt like.
I know, but it's a nice style.
I felt like it. Nah, I think it.
It was really because I recently watched it. It reminded me a lot of Heartstopper on Netflix.
I have no idea what that is. So
one of the best shows I've seen.
Well, look, it's not a problem like it ruins the series for me or distracts to the point that I can't enjoy it. I just personally could have done without it.
I personally absolutely loved seeing it. It was really colorful and fun, and also like when they were texting and they were showing up in places, and like on the road and as the neon signs and stuff. That was really fun.
I may have missed that part.
Oh man,
I'm not sure. When they were texting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she Miss Marvel, she texts her friend saying, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I was sitting here like I'm gonna stumble over the name. I'll just skip it." Good for that computer. Anyway, she was texting her friend that her mom.
Because there's a wrestler who's named Kamala, the Ugandan Giant, so I'm used to saying that name.
Nice.
Actually, I have more trouble saying the vice president's name because I want to call her Kamala.
Nice.
But
she's texting her friend saying that her mom said no, and it shows up as like the star lights from her night light, and then when her friend is responding, it shows up on the road as he's riding his bike past it, and then he goes up to his room above the shop, and there's like an emoji. The neon sign becomes an emoji.
I don't know. I may have had my eye on something else at that. But I don't.
But it was awesome.
I mainly remember like when she was riding home with her mom after her failed driving test, and we saw the one shot of her little Captain Marvel animatic.
Yeah, there were a bunch of things like that all in the
They were riding
background.
their bikes, and they were discussing like how to change her cosplay outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like half loved and half hated the zombie Captain Marvel reference because like I hated that episode of What If.
Yeah.
But they were sort of poking fun at the idea of a zombie too, so
yeah. What about like the very, very beginning when she's making the little videos?
Yeah, no, that's
and stuff?
great, but that's her making the video.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, what did you think of that?
I thought that was fine because
awesome.
that actually
So cute.
that actually served a purpose, and it actually had it was actually really happening with a lot of this. It was her video that she made.
Yeah.
It wasn't like these just imaginary images showing up.
I was just curious of what you thought.
No, I thought that was awesome.
Same, because in the comics she writes fanfics about the superheroes.
Going back to the aesthetic of the show, the only place I thought it didn't work beyond the moving pictures in the background was when they went to AvengerCon. Mm-hmm. And it's like, instead of being like a con like ones I've ever been to or seen before, it was like this weird sort of rave funhouse aesthetic. And
Maybe that's
like,
what a night con is like. You and I were discussing that.
That's the thing too. It's like, I guess that's what happens when you start a con at night. Because most cons I've ever seen or heard of don't start at night.
That's fact. They start at like 10 o'clock.
But it just seems sort of like this very underground vibe, and it's like that is okay if that's what you're going for. But I thought they were trying to go just more for a play on average everyday Comic Con.
That's what I expected.
Just celebrating the Avengers.
It was definitely different, but also kind of cool.
Yeah.
Starting off with that creepy funhouse Hulk entrance, like, well, we're going into a horror movie now.
That would have been interesting.
Also, going back to what you were talking about with that movie she was making at the beginning, I thought that was really cool, and it showed that she has a real talent for this sort of production, and it sort of made me think about, well, here we have another story of the outcast who becomes somebody special because they get superpowers, and that's fine, and I get that's most superhero stories, and that's basically her story in the comics and everything, so I'm not saying it needs to change.
Yes,
but,
it is.
But it does make me think that sometimes it'd be nice to see just people celebrated for being who they are without having to be a superhero to be special. Even in a world, especially in a world of superheroes.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Just one of the little side stories that they could do in the series.
Maybe we'll get a little bit of that too with her friend who seems to be sort of a tech guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he ever gets superpowers, but it seems like just about anybody who's anybody in
Hope
I haven't read
next
the comics in a
time.
while.
But
I read the first few issues and then kind of.
yeah, I mean, to be fair, like Tony Stark has no superpowers per se. He's just very intelligent, but
Yeah.
yeah.
he certainly doesn't seem like just.
Scraps.
He certainly seems like just not your average outcast.
Yeah, Miss Marvel.
He built the original one out of a box of scraps. All the rest weren't from a box of scraps.
I mean, yeah, but the original one was still pretty impressive for being built out of a box of scraps.
I'm not saying that all of them aren't impressive, but
in a cave.
I'm saying even Tony Stark doesn't feel like just your average person who's being celebrated for something special.
I mean, he is a
about him.
billionaire.
Being a genius, philanthropist, playboy.
He's being celebrated for being a billionaire.
But yeah, overall, I thought it was a really good debut. It looks like it's going to be a really fun series. Like I say, I never read any of the Miss Marvel comics. I haven't read a lot of comics, obviously.
I've read a few Miss Marvel.
One
of my favorite comics. Definitely favorite comics.
I used to read Punisher and Spider-Man.
I read Mega Man and Sonic.
The New Warriors were my favorite comic series. That'd be awesome to see that introduced in the MCU, but that's another story for another day. So yeah, I'm digging it. One minor complaint I have, again, aside from the moving pictures in the background, it's like halfway through they're up on the roof. Being emo on the roof.
Oh, it's gotta be
up on. I mean,
if you have access to a roof.
Talk about cliched at this point, though. I mean, come on.
If I didn't have a fear of being on the roof,
unless that's fully established as their place in the comics, and even then, it's like a lot of other people do that. Like Give him some.
I'm just saying, if I had access to a roof that I wasn't scared of being on, I would love just chilling out on the roof.
I get that, but I'm
sounds great.
But for a movie or television production, it just seems cliched at this point.
If I didn't hate being on the roof, I would love being on the roof.
But overall, I don't think the show's cliched or tired or anything else. I think it's got a really cool vibe and looks like it's going to be a really good series, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of it.
I love how it very much feels like a Marvel show, obviously, because it's Marvel stuff, but it also feels like it just fits in with other streaming shows and Disney shows that I've watched.
And also it feels like a new vibe, but also like one that's going to fit in with the MCU. Unlike Moon Knight, which just felt totally removed from the MCU. So yeah, good start.
Yeah, I was concerned coming on and seeing the way they were doing her powers, because it's different in the comics that I've seen, and as far as I'm aware, throughout all of it. But somebody did point out to me that it's kind of a reference to the reveal of her powers later in the comics, about how she pulls masks from someone else and whatnot.
But still not all her powers, though.
No, not 100%, but it's just Marvel's way of speeding things up so they can get through her story a bit quicker. Not have to show quite as much.
And I'm not defending their choice or attacking it either, but I mean, to be fair, a lot of the other characters in the MCU aren't exactly how they are.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was a little concerned.
Or by and large, they're modified. Some of them are pretty right on, too. So
yeah, like I said, I was a bit concerned, but after seeing this, I'm a lot more excited because it, like I said, captured the vibe of the start of her story.
And like I said, I had no stake in the Miss Marvel character coming into this, so I was prepared for whatever they offered. So other people's results may vary.
I also know pretty much nothing about Miss Marvel.
I know I'm digging the show.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
Are y'all good now?
I think so.
Alright, well on that note, come back next time when the conversation on Miss Marvel will continue. Make sure you check out our Obi-Wan reviews coming every week, and also the main feed of the podcast at anchor.fm/LexiCon podcast. And until next time, I was going to say we will video see you.
I thought you were going there.
Check us out at youtube.com/VDCTV as well.
Yes.
And for now, this is LexiCon concluded.
Bye.